Hi, everybody. My name is Ed Rodley, and I'm a word guy. I was an exhibit developer long before I was a digital media developer, and writing was central to what I did. So words mean a lot to me, and I struggle with the word digital. So I'd like to spend a few minutes exploring what it means. Digital is a slippery word, right? It used to mean having to do with fingers and toes. Then math came along, and it meant having to do with integers, and then computers came along, and it got reduced to zeros and ones, and then the internet came along. So what does digital even mean today? The interwebs, the cloud. It means anything having to do with computer technology. But in a world where an ever-increasing percentage of things are connected to the internet, digital's usefulness as a descriptor approaches zero. So what does it mean to have it in your title? Exactly. So one of the issues I have with digital is that it's an adjective that people like to use as a noun, right? When I hear digital, I expect there to be a word after it. I think we do ourselves a profound disservice when we fail to define what that thing is that the digital is modifying. So what is that noun? The obvious answer is, well, it kind of depends. And I don't know what the best way is to complete that phrase, and there may not be one way. But try this experiment. Next time you hear someone using the term capital D digital, ask yourself, what should come after it? Another one of my problems with the digital realm is that we often tend to compare it to the physical world as though the two are equal and opposing and discrete, right? There's the digital and there's the physical. And the reality is that interacting with digital information requires meat space. It requires this. Digital is never exclusively digital, at least not until they can jack directly into our brains, and even then it'll be analog. Our experience of it is always mediated by its physical expression, a screen, a sensor, protons, photons hitting receptors, sound waves. Treating digital like its own thing breeds that mindset that can build great projects where the thinking seems to stop right at the inside of the screen. And it's that gap, that what transportation callers call the last mile, that's the important bit, because that's the bit that leads to here. Anybody who was here last year for Max Anderson's Ignite talk on what directors hear when people talk about digital technology know that it means rapidly obsolete distractions, right? Digital equals overhyped, oversold, solutions looking for a problem to solve. And often when we talk about digital, we get overly simplistic. So take my friend the wombat here. He's entirely comprised of atoms, but you can't take that exact quantity of atoms and put them together and get a wombat. The organic transcends the inorganic. And in the same way, human beings, we're organic systems like wombats, but we've developed these systems, things called societies, that are so complex that they're held together with symbols and behaviors. We've transcended the organic. This is what the anthropologist Alfred Kroeber called superorganic. No amount of biological knowledge will explain why societies operate the way they do, right? If you want to understand fashion, you can't understand it just by looking at the people who make and consume fashion. The superorganic, like the digital, is the sea we swim in, and therefore difficult for us to see from our vantage point. It's everywhere and nowhere. And you might say, yeah, digital is just like another human society, only it's geographically dispersed, and it's embodied through devices. But there's something about it that's just different. If it resembled anything, to me, it would be more like an amoeba than a human society. So I'd like to propose some other ways we might think about digital. We sail in uncharted waters when we embark on digital products and projects, and our maps aren't very good. So what if digital was synonymous with as yet unexplored? What kind of expeditions might we undertake? The digital realm is an amorphous entity whose geography is almost impossible to define. But that doesn't mean it doesn't have geography, though. So that's why I like to describe the digital as a realm unto its own. So what if we thought of the digital realm as the new fairy realm? Right? So think about European folklore. The fairy realm coexists with the mundane world. It has entrances and exits all over the landscape that lead you to this different place where time flows differently. It's full of strange beings, some of them benign. It has rules that are different, and woe unto ye who gets lost there. Digital is also often used as cover for stuff to make it sound more appealing. What if we define digital as being something like umami, right? That mysterious flavor that you add to things to make them more umami. What if we treated digital as more like an ingredient? In the TV show Firefly, give it up. Shiny means cool or awesome. So what if we use digital the way that Kaylee uses shiny to mean something good or great or full of promise? Ridiculous, right? But language is full of ridiculous examples. So as you're enjoying the conference this year, pay attention to the meanings, because you're the ones who are going to transcend the outdated meanings. You're the ones who are going to create the new ones. And what digital will mean to museums in the future will be a result of the work that you do. And that's pretty shiny. Thank you.